The movie we're doing today that you're defending,
Sure.
You're defending Crash, which is from 2004. It won the Oscar for Best Picture. I think Terrence Howard won for Best Supporting
No, he
Actor.
didn't. He wasn't even nominated, and he should have been.
He should have been. Yeah, he should have been.
Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 4.
Yeah, I don't understand why.
I'll tell you, I don't know what the motives of the film writers are. People thought it was politically correct. I thought it wasn't at all. Because they vilify in a way that Hollywood normally doesn't vilify. Like little dumb shit, like in the opening scene, Brendan Fraser and Sandra Bullock are the married couple. He's the DA, that's his wife. And they're going to get into a car, and they see two black guys. It's Ludacris, and I forget who the other guy was.
Lorenz Tate.
Who was great.
He's great, yeah.
And you think it's going to be this lesson about judgment. And what happens is the two black guys do rob them. And you realize they were right to be scared. So like they knock down and they do a lot of things that Hollywood typically doesn't do. They typically give you this ham-handed social message. But with these guys, like, they gave you that, but they also gave you the opposite of every person. Like, they gave redemption in places that Hollywood normally never gives redemption, and they vilified in ways that Hollywood normally doesn't vilify.
So they drop him off at the hospital, and you're like, oh my God, this poor Chinese guy got hit, and he was just going to his, like, probably, you're supposed to assume his laundry van.
Sure.
That's your racist white brain being like, that's his laundry van. But at the end of the movie, they reveal he was a human trafficker.
And there's people in the van.
Wait. This does sound awesome.
No, it's not awesome.
It was awesome. I'll tell you what, because they
fucking cool.
You don't see any of it coming, and every time you think that they're going to pull the hero move, they don't. And there's certain things that were representative. They like. The couple that it's just too complex to go into, but the couple that gets pulled over, Matt Dillon is the dirty cop, and he winds up saving that girl from the wife who he actually felt up from a car that's burning. Now, I didn't look at that like, oh, that's him and her meeting up again. It was more representative of this is the relationship between black people and the cops. And, a lot of times the cops are shitty, but there is this other side, like, yeah, this is what these guys do as well.
Right.
They will crawl into a burning car and pull you out of it. So you don't normally see that kind of redemption in a film from Hollywood. And you normally don't see them calling themselves out the way they did with Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard's a black director, and and Tony Danza plays this fucking like scummy producer,
which is crazy. Tony Danza plays the boss, and
he plays the boss.
A lot of stars in this movie.
So it was one of the best cast films ever. And so Tony Danza goes up to him after the scene is shot. He goes about to do a spot with two black kids talking, and he goes, "Yeah, but he seems like he's smartened up a little bit. He's criticizing it because he said that they were talking too white." Like he's like, isn't he supposed to be the smart one? So he made them redo it. And Terrence Howard's having this weird dilemma as a black director. Like, this is how I see these characters. This is how I see black people, and this is how Hollywood sees black people.
And this is literally the day after he got pulled over with his wife, and his wife got felt up by a white cop in front of him, and he couldn't do anything about it. And then he's being told, don't have this guy talk white on this show.
They normally don't call themselves out with that shit, though. Hollywood almost never calls themselves out on that
paternalism. It sounds very self-aware and almost like... Is it a joke? It sounds serious.
No, it was serious.
No, it's serious. And they call out TV. They call out TV when they do that.
Well,
I guess TV is the one who's doing it. The TV shows are the ones who are doing it.
I'm sure movies do it too, but I mean, I think that was probably just because that was just what he did. But maybe they were just. I didn't take that as just TV.
Yeah,
but maybe.
You know what it is? I think what happened. Have you seen Magnolia? You haven't seen it. Oh, you haven't seen any. That's
I don't remember it.
Magnolia was...
When you look, sorry to interrupt you. When you look at Crash, though, like, the way Matt Dillon seems like, oh, he's this awful racist cop, the stereotypical, but the way they humanize him in that, then all of a sudden you feel something for him, and you're like, okay, he's not this piece of shit. The good guy becomes the one who makes the fucking stupid, the one who's supposed to be the good guy makes the stupid assumption.
Well, that's what I think. Lorenz Tate, for some reason, is hitchhiking, which is kind of a weird plot hole because nobody does that. Even in 2004, nobody was hitchhiking.
Well, I think some things they were doing purposefully to get to
certain plot points.
To get to certain points, but I felt like I got why they were doing it, and I didn't mind why they were doing it.
You didn't mind it, yeah. So he gets in the car with Ryan Fleabag, grabs his pistol, shoots him. So the whole moral is, yeah, Matt Dillon may be racist, but Ryan Fleabag is the one that actually killed somebody, and he's supposed to be this good guy.
Well, I think it was more about, like, we make all these judgments on people, and it gave redemption to everybody in the movie, and also it crucified everybody in the movie. It showed everybody really ugly, and it showed the stereotypes are not always wrong. I liked the way they showed both sides of every person. There was no one that had total redemption. There was no typical Hollywood hero at the end of it, and that was why I liked it so much. Besides the acting, like Don Cheadle was amazing in that. Terrence Howard should have been nominated.
He
should
have been nominated.
That
for
scene
it.
when he drops off fucking Ludacris. You embarrass me. You embarrass yourself. Oh fuck! Phenomenal. That's one of the best lines I've ever seen anybody say in a movie.
It's great. Yeah.
That was tremendous. And Don Cheadle, I mean, he's one of my favorite people. So Don Cheadle is great in everything. But he always, like, you didn't see the reveal at the end of the film, what his relationship to the other guy was. You didn't see that. You didn't understand the bringing stuff to his mother, who it was she was looking for the whole. It's just great, dude. I loved it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be humanizing because his dad has like a bad prostate infection or something, and he's like helping him off the toilet. It's all this like really vulnerable stuff. But I'm still like, yeah, but you're an asshole. Like you're.
Hold on, let me defend him though, because by the time that scene happened, he had already been on the phone with her, and he had been going back and forth with them. It was not the first time he encountered this. He had gotten bullshit on the phone, and so he finally went down in person after an argument on the phone.
Yeah.
So he tried to be a human being in person, and the woman was black. And when Matt Dillon didn't throw racist, horrible shit at him in the office, what Matt Dillon said to him was, you know, my father worked worked really hard to make sure that black people were like. He wasn't trying to say fuck black people. He was trying to say my father did so many nice things for black. Like maybe it was the misguided thing.
Yeah.
And it was stupid, but it is something somebody would say in a moment of rage. And by that point, he had already had arguments with her on the phone, and she had hung up on him, I think. They had communicated before on the phone. He didn't just show up out of the blue. So he was showing up to this fucking woman that we've all had to deal with. This fucking systematic shithead who won't do anything for you, and all you want to do is say something that's going to hurt them and be angry with them. I mean, that was what I took away from it.
Yeah, I could see that.
And he wasn't able to redeem himself in your eyes?
I just didn't have as much sympathy as far as other people.
After he pulled a lady out of a burning car? I thought that was pretty good. That humanized him as, again, the idea that it was just him and her again, to me was an obvious point they were making, which is just the relationship between people and the cops. And the fact is that cops do shit like that. As much as they can be dicks, there is that one element. They literally will crawl into a car that's about to burn to save your ass.
Right.
And it's like, that to me really redeemed him.
I do like that. I'll tell you, what I'm wondering is, the way it is now, would they explore that in a Hollywood movie?
I think so. I don't know. Again, I don't know the motives of the guys who made it. I think they might, sure, but I don't know if they would. I don't know if people. Maybe I took it in a way that I wanted to see it, but that was what I got out of it. I was surprised with certain things that they did, like the little girl. I thought she was going to get shot. And the fact that she didn't kind of went against what typically Hollywood has been doing. Like, I thought they were going to kill. I just loved it.
That's another plot line that we didn't even discuss.
That's right.
And it is interesting. We haven't talked about this in movies in general, where stuff like the feeling that you know what's going to happen.
You always know. The couple's
just know.
Going to get together.
Right. And then, but when it doesn't, and how exciting that can be.
Yeah.
It was also that I don't see this guy who's supposed to be, because you're not supposed to be. This is a guy who bought the gun like 2 days prior.
But his daughter had bought him bullets.
Yeah, that's that's an interesting part.
Yeah,
when
you don't
when
see
she
that
didn't
coming.
get shot, I was like,
how many different storylines are going
A bunch.
on?
A bunch.
Okay.
Like,
it's not that hard to follow when you're watching it.
No, it's not that far because you just keep jumping back and forth. The guy fires off the gun, nothing happens because the bullets that she bought were blanks.
Yeah, and you don't see it coming. I didn't see it coming.
I didn't either until when she didn't get shot. You're like, oh, and then I was like blanks in my head, and then they showed the box of blanks, and I was like, all right.
I thought he just missed.
What's a box of...
Couldn't it just been that he missed, and it was a weird divine intervention?
There are certain things in movies that could be more realistic. Sure. I mean, and I like realism in movies, but I didn't mind it. I still liked it. It still made me happy when she didn't get shot. Like, I don't know. Everything about this movie I liked. I liked it was Sandra Bullock, Brendan Fraser, Don Cheadle, Ludacris, and what's his name? Michael Pena.
And Lorenz Tate.
Lorenz Tate, Terrence Howard, who was incredible, Matt Dillon, Ryan Philippe, what's his name? Keith David had a great cameo as a police sergeant.
Tony Danza.
Thoughts
and prayers.
Power cast.
Amazing.
Thoughts and prayers.
That was a great scene he had, though. The fucking sergeant about, that doesn't say very much about my command. That was a great, when he's just putting on his stuff to go home.
Well, he's great. He's awesome.
He's great in everything.
Well, it was almost like they were trying to drive home too much. Like, look how important this is.
You know, I can't see if any other way they could have done it. And, with all of those stories, to connect all of them the way they connected them, I can't think of a way they would have done it that would have made me enjoy it as much. I don't know why I enjoyed it as much as I did. I loved it. And I keep saying that, but it's like, I don't know what they could have done more subtle. They would have had to cut certain stories out, and I just enjoyed every aspect of it.
If you watch Magnolia, because Magnolia...
I've seen it, but it's been a while.
Okay, Magnolia...
But if they're covering something... Race is a weird one, and it's hard to make certain... Like, if you do race almost too subtly, people just take it at face value. Oh, okay. Do you understand what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's hard. It's a little harder with race to kind of drive 5 different points home, but they were showing different people being racist. Like, you don't normally see films showing black people be racist against Asians. You know, you only see white people being racist because that's what Hollywood's comfortable with. That's the fucking politically correct way to look at it. And then at the end of the movie, the Shaniqua woman has a bit of a car accident and she starts bad-mouthing Asians.
Yeah, she doesn't speak American.
And so you realize that it's something that we all do.
Yeah.
We all make snap judgments. We all do these things. But like, how could they have showed that in her without just that stupid moment? Like, they're just showing that we all have these moments. Like, the good white cop had that racist moment. The fucking bad racist cop has human moments. Like, nothing is as it appears.
Yeah, well, that's any Hollywood movie that doesn't have a straight up happy ending. I almost always enjoy it because they never do that either.
Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. I realize I hate to say this at almost 50 years old. I like a happy ending.
So do I. But
I don't just mean the type that you obviously think. I mean like film wise. I like.
Well, you film that too.
Cuckoo's Nest. I do. Cuckoo's Nest is torturous to watch.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's brutal.
It's a terrible film to watch. It's one of my favorite movies, but it's hard to watch because I know it's not going to give me a happy ending.
Oh, there's tons of movies like that. Well, this movie was made for this. I was shocked to read this. It was made for $6 million.
What's that? The Notebook?
Crash.
Oh, I didn't know that.
$6 million, which is nothing.
That's low.
Yeah, with that cast, sure.
And also, Sandra Bullock wanted to be in it so bad she paid for her own airline ticket to get to the set.
Hell
Did
yeah.
she really?
Good for her.
Wow.
Good for her.
And they wanted to film. They wanted him. One of the sticking points, Paul Haggis.
She paid for her own airline ticket.
Yeah.
Good for fucking Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. Well, I think this was the first part of her whole like. Because then she won for The Blind Side, which was, what, 5 years after that? 4 years after that or whatever? So this was her foray into, like, real drama movies.
Like The Blind Side. That, to me, was ham-handed white people goodness. See, what Hollywood gets wrong, this is why The Help I didn't like. I thought the acting was great. But it's this fucking shit where it's a bunch of self-congratulating white people going, like, in The Help. What they're doing is they're just basically concentrating on the drama of the white people who help. They're not doing anything emotional for these fucking people who are treated like shit. And the big victory they give the woman as she shits in the cake, like that's such a fucking bullshit written victory. It's not a real victory. It means nothing. To me, that's what Hollywood always does. So that's why Crash was very refreshing to me to hear people talking like that and to see that the message wasn't that. Ooh, girl, you gave him a shit pie. Shut up. What the fuck is that? Stop it. That's not a real victory.
You're right. It's not.
Concentrating on the white heroes, you fucking dopes.
It's like it's like it didn't help your station in life. You're still in the same job.
Message
and show the real ugliness that was going on. Like they had this need, because it's mostly, and again, mostly white writers, they have this need to show the goodness of the white helpers. And that gets to be really fucking annoying.
Always.
That's why Malcolm X was so great. Not a whole lot of white helpers in that
one. Malcolm X is a great movie.
Fucking another one very underrated. He didn't get nominated for that. It was crazy.
That might be and it's Paul Haggis, who the guy, I thought the script on this wasn't, like $1 Million Baby, he won back-to-back best directing Oscars for this and $1 Million Baby. And $1 Million Baby had a way better script than this did.
I thought that was good, not great.
I liked it. I thought it was okay, but I thought the script was better than this script. It was weird. Like, I don't know if he was doing it on purpose. Like that Chinaman scene where it was weird how they were over pronunciating Chinaman over and over again. I'm like, I think he's doing this on purpose. Like, so you realize this movie, how much this movie's about race. Every other beat of this movie is like,
maybe
race,
it was just a humorous.
Race. What?
Maybe it was just to be humorous too.
Yeah, it's interesting because from Norton's perspective, it's sounding like they didn't, it really showed a lot of sides, this and that. From what you're saying, it's like they beat you over the head with it. Like, was it cheesy or was it not?
Yeah, it was cheesy. There was cheesy parts to it. Yeah.
There might have been, but I didn't think any of it was. And again, here's the problem with Hollywood. Terrence Howard does not get nominated for that, and he was it's one of the best performances. What's he get nominated for? The Pimp movie, where he plays a pimp, and there's all that.
That's a good point.
There's all that stuff where Hollywood is comfortable. They don't nominate Spike Lee for anything. Spike Lee is fucking brilliant, man. He's a really fucking unique director. I love the way he shows dialogue, the weird walking scenes. I love him.
Well, the background shot, the when they're there still, and then they have the background moving behind them.
They look like they're on a fucking
a dolly. Yeah.
But it was almost like Crash kind of called that out in a way, and they normally don't. But they really reward only certain things. What did Halle Berry win for? She's playing this fucking single, typical roles.
Well, Terrence, that's what I was going to say, and we said it already a couple times. Terrence Howard, to me, is the standout. The absolute standout, the way acting-wise and role-wise and everything.
Who they nominate for that movie? Typical Hollywood, Matt Dillon. And he was I thought Matt Dillon was really good in that, but I wouldn't say he was Oscar worthy. I thought he was good and really good, but I thought that Don Cheadle was better, and I thought fucking Terrence Howard was better.
Why didn't Terrence Howard get nominated?
Because it's not a comfortable role for them.
To nominate him, especially back then.
He's racist.
That's 13 years ago. I think a lot has changed.
He's not.
That's so.
They're
that's
just
ridiculous.
It sounds crazy and conspiratorial.
I get it.
Until you see what people have won for and what they don't get nominated for. And unfortunately, they're just really comfortable with black people being nominated for certain things.
And it's the Hollywood foreign press. And honestly, what people don't admit is other countries are just as racist as this country, and they're not. They're thinking of it the same way.
I think it's also racial discomfort, not even racial hatred. I think that they just don't know how to, they're not comfortable seeing that. They're comfortable with the help because it shows them. Why do you think Ben Affleck's movie won, Argo? Because Hollywood gave themselves a nice little pat on the back. Oh, look, we saved the day, didn't we?
Well, now all these things are creeping up. We might have talked about this already a couple episodes ago, where the movies that don't hold up, and I would put Crash in that. I honestly,
I disagree.
It's getting there, but another one another one is that people are online. They're now that the internet exists, there's these movies people just rail against,
and people hate this movie, right?
A lot of people hate this movie.
A lot of people do, but it was no one expected it to win Best Picture. I couldn't believe. I was so disgusted.
I remember that
it got nominated for. It didn't get nominated for. The
acting.
I was bummed out.
Well, another movie that's like this that people say doesn't hold up, actually that I do think holds up, is American Beauty. American Beauty, people.
Oh yeah, you're on this American Beauty. You're on an American Beauty train. I've heard you.
People, because they won Best Picture, and people
praises.
are so upset that it won Best Picture.
Yeah, they should be.
American Beauty.
Yeah,
you hated it.
I didn't hate it, but how many guys fantasize jerk off? Do you jerk off thinking about a girl in roses? Stop it! This fucking fruity outlook. It's not realistic. It's idiocy. And of course, the Marine was that was over the top. Oh no, the Marine is the fag. We got it. Come on. Holy shit.
But he's great. Chris Cooper.
They're all great.
They're all great.
They're all great. And Kevin Spacey was very good. But that fucking simp, you know what I mean? Jerking off thinking about a girl in a roses. Get the fuck out of here. What non-pervert wrote that? That offended me.
What romantic wrote that one? The other thing, this is what I was going to say about Crash as well.
And you also don't think of stuff like when they first get robbed, how the prosecutor the DA doesn't want to say it was two black guys that robbed him. He doesn't want to make a big deal of it because he's afraid it will look bad.
Yeah, he thinks he'll lose the black vote.
They're calling out a lot of this.
Outright?
Yep.
Yeah,
wow.
they're calling out this fucking horseshit, phony white stuff that white people do with race. It's great.
Yeah.
So people call it politically correct. I didn't think it was politically correct at all.
I don't think it was politically correct. I just think that.
Sounds like a lot to put into one movie.
It is,
yeah, but it worked.
It just worked.
Yeah.
I found it very entertaining.
I think you know what it was? It was great cast.
I love his innocent love for this movie.
I do. It's one of my favorite films.
Wow.
I think had to be.
But also The Wire, by the way, have won nothing. It did not win one award. It was nominated for Emmys in season 5 for who? The writers. A couple of the writers. Not one black guy on that fucking show was nominated.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was sickening.
Which is one of the biggest mistakes.
Because it was an uncomfortable way to show it. They didn't show it in the way that Hollywood would typically show something. They showed it in a very realistic way. These things, that's why I can't figure out, how do you not nominate fucking Wood Harris as Marlo Stan, as fucking oh my god, Avon Barksdale, or Idris Elba. How do you not nominate these guys? They were fucking incredible.
It's the best,
right? And who's winning?
House.
Right.
Yeah.
Ooh, the quirky guy with a limp. Ooh, there's our hero.
He does an American accent.
It's crazy. House will figure it out, but that's what wins.
Immensely.
There Will Be Blood was good, but that annoyed me a little bit after a while. Daniel Day-Lewis was so amazing. He's a flake, obviously.
Well, There Will Be Blood is unbelievable.
It dragged a little. I did like the movie. But after a while, I watched some of it again, and I was like, "Oh, who gives a shit?"
Yeah,
just annoyed me.
What would you rather watch? There Will Be Blood or No Country for Old Men?
I love Javier Bardem in that movie so much, and Tom Jones was really good. I don't remember that much about it.
Can you give us 3 reasons why you're defending Crash with Matt Dillon and Ryan Felipe, Mr.
When you say it like that, it's
Ryan
not
Felipe
super convincing.
Witherspoon?
Because I think it was very untypical of Hollywood to say the things it said. I think the acting was really great, and I think the casting was really great. I mean, what else can I say? And I also, to me, the message it wanted to send, I liked. Maybe I'm giving you 4 reasons, but I liked the message it sent because it wasn't typical.
And when was the last time you saw it, out of curiosity?
It's been a little while, but every time it's on, I'll watch it.
And it still holds up for you?
It does, yeah. Don Cheadle's he always makes me cry when I watch him, and I don't know why. I love Don Cheadle. I have no idea why.
He was an unbelievable actor. But
he's just great in everything.
Do you remember the circumstances you first saw it in? Was it just going to the theater?
No, I think I just watched it. It might have been on cable even, or it might have been in the theater. I just don't remember.
Because we talk about that a lot on the podcast. Circumstances can affect what you think of a movie.
It might have been in the theater. I don't even remember where I saw it.
But it sounds like you've seen it a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.